Hello there, and welcome back to 31 Days of Calming Tips. I'm your host, Karin Del Maestro, your health and calmness coach, also breast cancer and BRCA2 thriver. It's such an honor to be here with you, and I am so glad that you are taking this time for yourself to focus on simple things that help you feel calm in what can often feel like an overwhelming and tumultuous world, right? Especially after going through something like breast cancer. Now, what we're talking about today is gratitude journaling. Okay, the power of gratitude. And it really is, and it's the concept of gratitude is so simple. And you might be thinking, well, Karin, yes, I am grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I get to wake up in the morning, right? But then so often, what do? We might say that, and then we go through our day, perhaps saying things like, oh, my, come on, knees, stop hurting. Or I just wish that my body felt better and younger and beating ourselves up. Or I wish I was back to my old life. Or why is it so hard? Or all of these things that, as you can hear, are all very negative, right? And it's like we forget about being grateful for our legs, even though they might be achy, for what they do for us every day, how they help us walk, how they help us stand. What do those legs help you do every single day? Right? So just shifting that focus from overwhelmed, chaotic, stressed out, worried, to shifting into feeling positive and gratitude. Now, I want to say something really important here because I think that I know in my own experience, and I know I hear from so many other people, we might use a phrase very similar to, what do I have to complain about? I have a roof over my head and clothes on my back and food on the table. And when we say things like that, we might often be negating how we really feel, right? Almost telling ourselves what you feel isn't valid. And so gratitude is different than saying something like that. And I'll explain why. Okay. Because we can feel unhappy, we can feel stressed out, we can feel angry, frustrated, overwhelmed. We can feel all of these things and more, obviously, and grateful. Okay, so practicing gratitude is not to undermine or invalidate any negative feelings that you're having, but it can be as well as. Okay. And it's so, so important that we do that. For years and years, I kind of sucked up any negative feelings. And perhaps you can relate to this, right? Like I sucked them up. I would put on a smiling face and I would pretend to the world that I was happy. But inside, I wasn't. I was real, and I'm going back years right now, but I was really unhappy. Although I led a blessed life, my heart, my soul, myself was not actually happy. And that was because I wasn't living true to who I was. I didn't even know who I was at that point. And you may not either, not yet. That's a big part of what you learn in Thrivership School. That's how it even came about. It was my journey to figuring out who I am and what's important to me in my life. And now this practice of gratitude becomes easy. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So there's actually science behind it too. And as I was, researching to do this episode, I came across a study by UCLA Health, and they showed that um, the practice of gratitude has been shown to reduce depression. A review of 70 studies that included responses from more than 26,000 people found an association between higher levels of gratitude and lower levels of depression. That same study was shown to lessen anxiety, support heart health, relieve stress, and improve sleep. And so I think those are things that for me, for all of us, especially after going through breast cancer, those are all things, right, that are super duper important to us. So learning to practice gratitude the right way is super important for those reasons. Now, I remember, I just want to share like a little story with you. I remember going to see my breast surgeon for the very first time. And so this was just after being diagnosed. It was a new hospital. And we got to the hospital a little bit early. And so there was the hospital gift shop, as there always tends to be. So I said to my husband, let's just wander around in here with no intention of buying anything, but just as something to do to pass 15 minutes, And so we go in, and I was drawn immediately to a big picture, wooden picture up on the wall. And on this picture, literally, it was a piece of wood, and it just said grateful. And then it had an image of a heart, grateful heart. And I was so drawn to it. I didn't say a word to my husband and kept looking around the store. We went upstairs. I had my appointment. Thankfully, loved my breast surgeon. She was fabulous. And as we came down, this sign was still, it was in my head, and when it's like that, you're always going to go back and look at it again, right? And say, oh, is this still tugging at my heart? Now, that doesn't happen to me very often. I'm not a big shopper. I'm not somebody that impulsively shops these days. I used to be many years ago, not anymore. And I said to my husband, do you mind if we go into the store? There was something that caught my eye. He said, yeah, of course. So we go in and I show him this sign, and he said, absolutely, that's coming home with us. And so we bought it that day. And that sign hung over our fireplace. We were living in Washington State at the time. And it hung over our fireplace in our living room every day. And so I passed that sign, I can't tell you how many times, and reminded myself throughout my whole breast cancer journey, as we both did, to still have a grateful heart. Be grateful that my heart was still beating. Be grateful that I could still walk. Be grateful that I was able to go through my surgeries and everything that I had to go through. Grateful that we had each other. We found gratitude in so many places, both of us. And there were times, and I would sit every day on the sofa just looking at this sign as a reminder to myself. And it was during that process that my relationship with my body really shifted into one of gratitude. And it stays with me today. I am grateful for the vessel that carries me through each day. I'm not upset with my body. I don't use harmful or nasty or mean words to my body or my scars or how I look. But I'm grateful to the vessel that carries me through each day. And I do believe that that sign was a sign. I was supposed to see it on that day. I know it was meant to come home with us. And it was really just that reminder that there's always something to be grateful for, no matter what we're going through. And I know that we can go through some really, really tough things. I know that. And I know your journey, like mine, has not been easy. It's been hard at times, and often many times. But there's always something to be grateful for. So, like with that sign for me, and what really prompted my daily gratitude practice, right, was sitting there and looking at this sign for me. But another great way that you can practice gratitude is by starting a gratitude journal. And I've done this over the years. I've had clients do this over the years. And one of the things that I recommend is doing it at night before you go to bed. And the reason I like to add it into a nighttime as routine is because then we're going to bed feeling grateful versus exhausted, stressed out. You might still be exhausted, that's okay, but stressed out and worrying about things. Instead, we're going to bed feeling grateful. It affects how you sleep. So I wanted to offer you today a couple of prompts, right, that you might like to choose to write down in your gratitude journal to kind of get you thinking along the lines of what can you be grateful for? Because I know sometimes it can be hard, right? Especially if you've had a super rough day and perhaps you're not feeling well. Perhaps you've had a fight with your significant other or feeling isolated, like nobody gets you. I do get it. I do understand that this journey is tough. I know. And that's why I specialize in helping women specifically on this journey. So here's a couple of prompts for you to try. The first one, which I think is probably one of my favorites because it's easy. As you know, I hope by now that I love super easy, simple things, right? So this would look something like reflect on 3 moments today that you felt a sense of inner strength and resilience. How do these moments inspire hope for the future on your breast cancer journey? Okay, you'll find this in the show notes if you missed it. I'll say it again. Reflect on 3 moments today when you felt a sense of inner strength and resilience, and ask, how do these moments inspire hope for the future on your breast cancer journey? And as with everything, this is about figuring out what resonates with you, right? It's not just take Karen's prompts, but make them your own. What resonates with you? This is another one you might like to explore. In the face of adversity, we often discover new aspects of ourselves. And you might find that you're more patient than you were before, not because you want to be, but because you've had to be. But that's still something that a skill that you've acquired and strengthened during your experience. So in the face of adversity, we often discover new aspects of ourselves. Write about a personal quality or skill that you've developed or strengthened during your breast cancer experience. And how might this skill open up new possibilities in your life? Think about it. We learn things as we go through this journey. We grow, especially if you're open to being adaptable and being present and changing things. And another one I want to offer you is express gratitude for the support and love you've received from your family, friends, and healthcare team. Share how their presence has played a role in your healing process. And how do these connections foster hope and a brighter future for you? Now you might be there thinking, love and support that I've received from family and friends. Because perhaps, and this is something that I hear very frequently, it's my own experience too. The people that you thought were going to be there for you during this journey, the people that you thought were going to step up, were not. Or not. I want you to know if that's the case, that I'm sending you a huge hug because I know how much it hurts. I actually had a friend, she's been a friend for many years, who had been through breast cancer. And she said to me, Karin, I'm your girl. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And that was it. I didn't hear from her again throughout the whole journey. Did that hurt? Yes. Of course it hurt. But here's the thing, and here's what I know to be true. Not everybody can handle going through it. And if somebody's been through it might trigger things for them. And that's okay. But instead of focusing on the people that didn't show up for you for whatever reason, right? Let's show gratitude for the people that did. And maybe it was your healthcare team. Maybe it was a neighbor who you never really knew before, but they popped in for an odd cup of tea or maybe even with a dinner for you. Make sure that you show gratitude for the people that did show up. Make sure you receive, because sometimes it's hard to receive that help and love and support, right? But you deserve it. And so, as with most things, we get the most benefit out of gratitude when we make it a practice. And that's why I think personally, either doing it first thing in the morning or last thing at night, where it's wrapped around perhaps another ritual that you already have, then it's easier to remember to do it. But give it a shot. Try it out for a week. See how it makes you feel. See how your body feels. See how your mind feels. Does it help you feel calmer? Okay. So your calming action for today, as you can guess, is to start a gratitude journal, right? It can be a piece of paper, or you can purchase yourself a cute journal. It doesn't need to be fancy. It's up to you. And write down 3 things that you're grateful for every night before bed or every morning. You choose whichever works for you. Okay? But do it and just see, observe, be curious, right? Pretend like it's a game and try it on for size and see if it works for you or not. And here's the thing, be careful not to poo-poo it if you've tried it before in the past and it didn't work, let's say, because you're not that same person anymore. It might work for you now. Interesting, right? We're not the same people. So try it on for size and see how it works. And as we end our session today, with our left hand over our heart, the right hand on top, gently hugging your heart. And just like my sign said, be grateful to that heart that continues to beat, your life source. Oh, give it a hug. Be grateful. And send this message to your heart today. Okay? You are loved. You are safe. I've got you. I love you. And I am grateful to you. Have an amazing day and find gratitude in it somewhere. See how it makes you feel. Bye for now.